Hello and welcome to Hindustan Astrology. I'm Katya, and today's video I want to talk about something very important that's happening on November 4th. We have Jupiter finally going into Sagittarius. Now, he is still Gandanta, and he will be Gandanta until 3.2 degrees of Sagittarius. And what does that mean? Gandanta literally means a knot, a very well-placed knot at the end of a rope that we must unravel before we go on to the next sign. And it's the karma that we must unravel before we can go into the next cycle. And it's always from 26.4 degrees of a water sign to 3.2 degrees of the next fire sign. And Jupiter has been in Scorpio and is now going into Sagittarius. So, what does that mean? Well, now he's going to be joining Saturn and Ketu and Pluto until January 23rd when Saturn goes into Capricorn. And then next year they'll be doing this dance back and forth as they both go retrograde and, conjunct again in June, and then finally come together at the end of the year in Capricorn. But when Jupiter and Saturn come together, it's a game changer. It's a point of manifestation and growth. So the people that have been having the hardest time are people that have their moon or ascendant in Sagittarius, because the nodes have been there. Ketu's been in Sagittarius, and Rahu is opposite in Gemini. And if your moon is in Sagittarius, then having Saturn there means you're in Sati. Sati is the 7-year period from when Saturn is in the same sign as your moon, the sign before and the sign after. So it's a whole 7-year period. And the strongest, most intense time is when Saturn is in the same sign as your moon. So for Sagittarian people, it's been rough. And now that the great benefic Jupiter is going into your sign, you're going to be feeling a lot better. Things will lighten up. And even though it's a fire sign, I think it will help the wildfires. At least they won't get much worse, I hope. It's been really crazy in California, and Lebanon has been burning as well. So if you are a moon or ascendant Sagittarius, we'll go through all 12 signs. This means this is happening in your first house. And that means that Jupiter just came out of your 12th house. And the 12th house is, it can be loss. It's confinement and privacy, even seclusion to the point of being in a prison or a jail or a temple. Really, it's your choice when you have malefic planets there, or rather, Saturn's a malefic and has been, was in your 12th house, now is in your first house. So having Jupiter joining Saturn in your first house is just, going to bring change and growth to yourself. First house is you. And also having it opposite the 7th house, your relationships will get better at this time as well. So moving on to Capricorn. So if you are a moon in Capricorn or a Capricorn rising, this means that Jupiter is now in your 12th house. So what is 12th house? It can also be foreign lands. And so you could get suddenly, money from foreign lands. Or for a woman, Jupiter's the spouse. Your spouse could come from foreign lands. You could be traveling as well. And then opposite the 12th house is the 6th house. And we have, that's the house of health and the house of service. So you know, Jupiter as the indicator of children, so you could be helping children at this time as well. And also, you know, having K2, this is huge, having Jupiter and K2 together until, well, we have like almost a year of it. I can't remember when Jupiter goes into Capricorn next year. I think it's around August. So we have quite a long time. And then in September, K2 will go into Scorpio. So having Jupiter and K2 together, this is, you know, we've been breaking down a lot of the old ways already. Society is kind of in a flux right now. People are tired of the old institutions enslaving people. People want more personal power, and their beliefs are changing. So K2 is bringing in new spirituality, new growth, and the religions are changing. Our gurus are changing. Yeah, so, you know, for you, especially Capricorn, this is, you know, your 12th house of deep spirituality. So things are really shifting at a big interlevel for you. If your moon or ascendant is in Aquarius, then this means that Jupiter is now in your 11th house. 11th house is great gains. It's also the eldest sibling, but it's your community. So you could, you know, meet a new spiritual community at this time. And opposite that, because, you know, Jupiter's strongest aspect is the 7th. And what, you know, 5th house, creativity. You could be learning new artistic skills at this time. Also, you could be teaching. You could be teaching a lot more. House of education, 5th house. So, but yeah, 11th house, if you're a woman, you could meet your spouse in a large community, large gatherings. So I think this is going to be a good time for you, Aquarius. So for the next sign, we have Pisces. And if your moon or ascendant is in Pisces, then Jupiter is now with Saturn in your 10th house. This is the game changer. This is what you've been waiting for. This is the time when your career will probably take off and you'll be getting away from mundane things. Especially things at home, because opposite the 10th is the 4th house of the home. You know, you might have to leave your home to travel, to go and meet the gurus of your career. But also, you know, Jupiter as the great benefic being opposite the 4th house, you could get some real estate at this time as well. So really good time for Pisces. So moving on, the next sign is Aries. So when Jupiter on November 4th goes into Sagittarius, this will be in your 9th house of spirituality. This is Jupiter's house. This is a time when you will get great inspiration. You will maybe be teaching a lot as well, maybe going back to school, definitely in contact with new teachers and new gurus, and having the 9th house opposite the 3rd. Media and communication could be big in the form of, you know, writing material. I could see you writing books at this time, or yeah, Aries, you could be, you know, writing manuals, writing articles, doing things especially about something that you love, that you believe in, because, you know, even though Sagittarius is the sign of religion and beliefs, it's also a highly creative sign. And being that, you know, he is the guru, you could be doing a lot of highly creative work in your teaching. So really, really great time for Aries. The next sign is Taurus. And so if you are a moon or ascendant in Taurus, this means that Jupiter will now be going into your 8th house. And 8th house, while it is a very dark house, the house of the occult and death, and I call it the, you know, sex, drugs, and rock and roll house. having Jupiter in his own sign there, it's also the house of inheritance. So you could be getting a big inheritance at this time, Taurus. And it's, you know, opposite the second house of money. So yeah, I definitely see that you're going to probably get a substantial amount of money, something you've been waiting on. But also, because it is such a deep house of transformation, you could be meeting teachers that help you transform. And on the mundane side, I find a lot of people that have are in the beauty field have heavy 8th house, because what's a makeover? It's a transformation. So 8th house doesn't have to be scary all the time. You know, transformation can be a fun thing, like a makeover. So people in the beauty industry could get a lot of inspiration at this time for something new, especially having K2 and Saturn. This is a game changer. You know, this is when things are going to change for you, Taurus. And also, you know, having K2 in the 8th, I mean, this is like a deep spiritual transformation. So I think that's a good thing. Don't look at it as, you know, something scary. So the next sign after Taurus, we have Gemini. And Gemini, for you, Sagittarius will be coming into your 7th house. And so if your moon or ascendant is in Gemini, then that means that, you know, Jupiter has been in your 6th house of health, and hopefully helps you to get more active and get a healthier lifestyle. And now that Jupiter, K2, and Saturn are going to be in your 7th house, your relationships are going to transform. And being opposite the first, this is going to really impact you. It's really going to change you. And so having the 7th house, also it's going to affect your business partnerships. So just the way you look at things, you know, your beliefs about business and how you deal with people, especially on a personal level. You know, you may have gone through a lot of humbling experiences while Jupiter was in your 6th house of service, but now that he's in the 7th, you know, having to give and give and give like you did, now it's all going to pay off for you. I feel like things will, your business will be transformed, and your marriage and everything will get better. So if you are a Cancer ascendant, that means that Jupiter and Saturn and K2 and Pluto are now all in your 6th house of health. And having Saturn and K2 there almost all year has probably you've let go of some maybe a career that's over. Letting go of the past work, or maybe coming back around and doing work from the past again. But I can definitely see an ending happening for Cancer risings, because also we have, you know, Rahu has been over here in your 12th house. And so I feel like having Jupiter now there, this is going to give you inspiration for what the future holds for the work that you do. You know, because 10th house is like recognition of your career, but the 6th house is like the hands-on work, what you actually do. So you're probably shifting within your career, or totally changing careers to something new, to where now you've got more inspiration. And as is the house of health as well, your health should get a boon at this time. We've had Mars in Virgo in October, and that was really not a good time for health in general for everybody. Flu season started early, and there was just a lot of, you know, bronchitis going around and bad allergies and things like that. But now I feel like with Jupiter for Cancer risings, having this in your 6th house, that's really going to help your health. And yeah, also, you know, your spirituality is transforming. And if you are looking for a relationship, you might be, for a woman, you know, Jupiter's the indicator of the spouse, and 12th house is foreign lands. So, you know, foreign lands might be involved in meeting somebody, or they might be a foreigner. If you are a Leo ascendant or moon, that means that this is taking place, that Jupiter is going to be entering your 5th house. 5th house is the house of children, and this is the Leo house. And so, you know, you could be becoming a parent, you know, have a new child, or even a new grandchild, but especially being around children and teaching as well, house of education and hobbies, and also speculation. So having Jupiter in the house of speculation, you know, you could have some good luck with gambling, or even the stock market. This could be something that that you are suddenly, you know, the planets are lining up, and you're, if you're a day trader, you might be getting some really good hits at this time. But having opposite the 5th house is the 11th house, and that's the house of great gains. So again, large sums of money coming to you. You know, not just you know, a little bit, but like a large chunk of money, like $250,000 or something at least. You know, substantial amount. That's the 11th house. So, you know, you could win big. So play those numbers, Leo. See. Check the Panchanga to see what the best days of the month are for you to buy that lottery ticket. So if you are a Virgo ascendant or moon, excuse me, and that means that Jupiter is now going into your 4th house. And the 4th house is the house of the mother. But it's also real estate as well. And so having Jupiter in the house of real estate, you could come into a lot of real estate at this time. Opposite this is the 10th house of career. Your career could even, you know, take off at this time. You could meet a new guru within your career that's going to help you out. Or money could come to you from your spouse in the form of real estate. So for Virgo, I feel like, you know, and this could be really especially a game-changing time for your relationship with your mother as well, because, you know, Saturn, Jupiter, this is the game changer. And if you haven't been getting along with your mom, this could be a good time for you, Virgo. Reconnect with her. If you are Libra, ascendant or moon, that means that Jupiter's coming into your 3rd house. And we've already had Saturn K2 there, which has probably not been very good for relationships with your siblings. You could have, you know, had a lot of misunderstandings with your siblings that caused distance. But now Jupiter's coming in there, so that could help out a lot. And then also opposite the 3rd house is the 9th house, and that's a house of higher education, Jupiter's house. And having Jupiter opposite, I feel like you, if you are in school, then this is going to be a really good time when you meet a new guru, or you even think about teaching yourself, like you could be the educator yourself. So this is, things will get a lot better in the realm of siblings and writing, like especially if you've been trying to get some writing done. 3rd house is writing books, and having Saturn and K2 there, it's probably put a damper on things. But having Jupiter there, it's going to help your writing process a lot, Libra. So things will get better. And you could even be writing that book that you've always wanted to write, that you've been putting on the back burner. So if you are Scorpio, ascendant or moon, that means that this is taking place in your 2nd house of money. And having Jupiter there, you probably have lost some money this year, Scorpio. I think it's probably been tough for you to make money, and every time you make it, you have to spend it. But now that Jupiter's there, you're probably going to get a boon. And it could even be an inheritance as well, because it's opposite the 8th house of inheritance. So money from in-laws at this time could come in, especially if you're looking to start a business. But it's, you know, having Jupiter the great benefic in the house of money is a good thing. So, you know, if you're looking for a business partner, definitely look to somebody who has the Jupiterian qualities of, you know, benevolence and open-mindedness, somebody who is not, you know, narrow-minded. Yeah, I know it's been tough for Scorpios this year, just all around, having Jupiter going back and forth. Well, he was in Sagittarius in April, and that's when he went into Sag and then went retrograde. That's when the Cathedral of Notre Dame burned down. And so, you know, the second house is what's called a Maraka house, a killer house. And so, you know, our religions are dying and transforming at this time as well. And the way we think, our speech, the way we talk, second house is the mouth, the way we talk about what we think is going to be radically transformed at this time. So, so for Scorpio, I feel like this is going to be a good thing. So of course this is, you know, a generalized reading. If you would like a deeper reading into how Jupiter and Saturn are going to play out for next year, just go to my websites down below, HindustaniAstrology.com. And of course this is for Vedic Sidereal Astrology. This is not Western astrology. So also if you have any, you know, questions, just use the contact form on my website. And I hope to hear from you soon. Thanks very much. Namaste.